Most people think turn the other cheek means being weak, letting people walk all over you, staying silent when someone disrespects you. And if that's what it means, it's terrible advice. Because life teaches us that boundaries matter. Self-respect matters. Standing up for yourself matters. So why has this teaching survived for nearly 2,000 years? What if we've misunderstood it? What if one of the most quoted teachings in history isn't about surrendering your power, but reclaiming it? By the end of this video, you'll see this ancient teaching in a completely different light, because turn the other cheek may have far less to do with other people and far more to do with what happens inside us when we're challenged. Think about the last time someone upset you. Maybe it was a rude comment, an unfair criticism, a family member who knew exactly which button to push. The moment it happened, something changed. Your attention narrowed. Your emotions intensified. Your mind immediately started building a case. Why you were right, why they were wrong, what you should have said. And here's what's interesting. Most of us believe we're reacting to the other person, but we're usually reacting to the story our mind instantly created about what happened. This is why two people can experience the exact same event and walk away with completely different emotional outcomes. Not because the event was different, but because the meaning they assigned to it was different. That distinction matters more than it appears. It may explain why some people stay calm under pressure, while others lose control entirely. First, let's look at what modern psychology has discovered about human behavior. When we feel attacked, rejected, criticized, or disrespected, the brain treats those experiences as threats. Not physical threats, psychological threats. Threats to our identity, threats to how we see ourselves, threats to our place within a group. And when the brain detects a threat, something predictable happens. The nervous system prepares to protect us. Heart rate increases, stress hormones rise, attention narrows, and the mind becomes focused on one thing: defense. This is why arguments escalate so quickly, why one comment can ruin an entire day, why a conversation that lasted 30 seconds can live in our minds for a week or even longer. The event is over, the other person has moved on, but the nervous system is still trying to solve a problem that no longer exists. Now, here's where the historical context becomes important. When this teaching was first spoken, the audience understood something we often miss today. In the culture of that time, a backhanded slap to the right cheek was a specific gesture, not a brawl, but a deliberate act of social humiliation. It was how a superior signaled that you were beneath them. Many scholars believe that by offering the other cheek, the victim refused both retaliation and submission. Instead of responding with violence or accepting the humiliation, they exposed the insult without accepting the shame. In other words, the teaching wasn't instructing people to absorb abuse. It was showing how to refuse to be diminished by it. That's a very different message. Across many wisdom traditions, a similar principle appears again and again. Human suffering often grows when we become trapped inside our own automatic reactions. Not because emotions are wrong, not because anger is bad, but because unconscious reactions often create consequences we never intended. Think about some of the biggest regrets in your life. How many came from pausing and choosing carefully? And how many came from reacting? An angry email, a harsh comment, a relationship damaged in the moment of frustration. A few seconds of awareness could have changed everything. And this brings us back to turn the other cheek. Because what if this teaching isn't telling us to become passive? What if it's teaching us to create space between the event and our reaction? That tiny space is one of the most powerful things a human being can develop. The ability to pause, to observe, to choose. instead of reacting automatically. Consider a simple example. You're driving home after a long day, tired, stressed, then another driver cuts you off. For some people, it's over in seconds. For others, it becomes an emotional event that lasts for hours. The anger arrives, the story begins, the mind starts building evidence. They're selfish. People are so rude. I can't believe this happened to me. Now the driver is gone, but the reaction remains. That's the hidden cost of reactivity. The event lasted 3 seconds. The suffering lasts much longer because the quality of our lives is often shaped less by what happens to us and more by how we interpret what happens to us. And perhaps that's what this ancient teaching was pointing toward all along. Not weakness, not submission, not becoming a doormat, but freedom from being controlled by every emotion, every impulse, every story, and every provocation that comes your way. The person who can remain centered when challenged possesses a kind of strength that most people never develop. Anyone can react, few people can choose not to. And that may be the deeper wisdom hidden inside these ancient words. Not that we should surrender our power, but that we should stop giving it away. Every day, life will present us with reasons to react. A criticism, a disappointment, a frustration, a challenge. The question isn't whether those moments will come. They will. The question is who you'll be when they arrive. Will you hand over control or keep it? Perhaps that's why this teaching has endured for 2,000 years. Not because it asks us to be weak, but because it knew something about strength that we're still discovering.